Okay, guys. Hopefully these won't be boring for you guys. These are on the eggs and that kind of thing. So, collecting and storing eggs. Here we go. An egg is at its best quality the moment it is laid, after which its quality gradually declines. Properly collecting and storing eggs slows that decline. Collect eggs often so they won't get dirty or cracked. Pullets sometimes lay their first few eggs on the floor. A floor egg is usually soiled and sometimes gets trampled and cracked. Well-managed pullets soon figure out what the nests are for. If they continue laying on the floor, perhaps not enough nests are available for the number of pullets in the flock. Eggs also get dirty when a hen with soiled or muddy feet enters the nest. Eggs crack when two hens try to lay in the same nest or when a hen accidentally kicks an egg as she leaves the nest. The more often you collect the eggs, the less chance they will get dirty or cracked. Sometimes they just are dirty. Further collection keeps eggs from starting to spoil in warm weather and from freezing in cold weather. Try to collect eggs at least twice a day, since most eggs are laid in the morning. Around noon is a good time for your first collection. Discard eggs with dirty or cracked shells, which may contain harmful bacteria. If you're going to sell or hatch your eggs, sort out any that are larger or smaller than the rest or have weird shapes or wrinkled shells. You can keep the oddballs for your own culinary use. And by the way, it's normal to occasionally find an extremely small egg with no yolk or an extra large egg with more than one yolk. Store eggs in clean cartons, large end up so the yolk remains centered with the white egg. Centered within the white. Large end up. So the small end down, the pointy end down. Okay. Where you store your eggs depends on whether they will be used for eating or hatching. If you plan to hatch them, store them in a cool, dry place, but not in the refrigerator. If you plan to eat them or sell them for eating, store them in the refrigerator as soon as possible after they are laid. The egg rack on the refrigerator door is not a good place to store eggs. Every time you open the refrigerator, eggs on the door get blasted with warm air. When you shut the door, the eggs get jarred. The best place to keep the eggs is on the lowest shelf of the refrigerator, where the temperature is coldest. Raw eggs in a carton on the lowest shelf keep well for 4 weeks. Yeah, at our fridge, that's the easiest way for them to get trampled. Egg aging. An egg stored at room temperature ages more in 1 day than an egg stored in the refrigerator ages in 1 week. Nutritional value. Eggs have been called the perfect food. 1 egg contains almost all the nutrients necessary for life. The only essential nutrient it lacks is vitamin C. Most of an egg's fat and all the cholesterol is in the yolk. To reduce the cholesterol in an egg recipe, such as scrambled eggs or omelets, use 2 egg whites instead of 1 whole egg for half the eggs in the recipe. If the recipe calls for 4 eggs, for example, use 2 whole eggs plus 4 egg whites. To eliminate cholesterol in a recipe for cakes, cookies, or muffins, substitute 2 egg whites and 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil for each whole egg in that recipe. Okay, I don't agree with this. Do not use vegetable oil for absolutely anything. It is horrible for you. If the recipe already has oil in it, you may omit the extra 2 teaspoons. Do not use vegetable oil. It is so bad for you. It is all GMO crap. Okay. So. Think.
Yeah,
What?
I got horns stuck in my tooth.
Happens. Alright. Determining freshness. Sometimes you'll find eggs in a place that you haven't looked before, so you can't tell how long they've been there. One way to determine whether an egg is fresh is to put it in cold water. A fresh egg sinks because it contains little air. As time goes by, moisture evaporates through the shell, creating an airspace at the large end of the egg. The older the egg, the larger the airspace will be. If the airspace is big enough to make the egg float, the egg is too old to eat. Another way to tell if an egg is fresh is to use a light to examine the airspace, the yolk and the white. This examination is called candling because it was once done by using candles. These days an electric light is used, but the process is still called candling. A good pen light is ideal for candling. Candle eggs in a dark room. Grasp each egg by its small end and hold it at a slant. Large end against the light so you can see its contents through the shell. In a fresh egg, the air space is no more than 1/8 of an inch deep. The yolk is a barely visible shadow that hardly moves when you give the egg a quick twist. In an old or stale egg, the air space is large and sometimes irregular in shape, and the yolk is a plainly visible shadow that moves freely when you give the egg a twist. Occasionally, you may see a small dark spot near the yolk or floating in the white. The spot is a bit of blood or flesh that got into the egg while it was being formed. Even though blood spots and meat spots are harmless, when you sort eggs for hatching or for sale, eliminate those with spots. Customers don't find them appetizing, and eggs with spots may hatch into pullets that lay eggs with spots. If you aren't sure what you are seeing when you candle an egg, break the egg into a dish and examine it. Soon you will be able to correlate what you see through the shell with what you see in the dish. When you break a fresh egg into a dish, the white is compact and firmly holds up the yolk. In an aging egg, the white is runny and the yolk flattens out. Try comparing one of your homegrown eggs with a store-bought egg. It's easy to tell which is fresher. Shell color. A hen's eggs have a specific shell color. All her eggs might be white, light brown, dark brown, speckled, blue, or green. The color of the shell has nothing to do with the nutritional value of the contents. Hens in the Mediterranean breeds lay white-shelled eggs. Since Mediterraneans are the most efficient layers, they are preferred by commercial egg producers. Many consumers prefer eggs with white shells because that's what they're used to seeing. Brown-shelled eggs are laid by American breeds. Since the Americans are dual purpose, they're popular in backyard flocks. Some consumers prefer brown eggs because they look homegrown. Brown eggs come in every shade from a dark reddish color to a light tan that appears almost pink. Blue-shelled eggs are laid by a South American breed called the Araucana and its relative, the Americana. Because the eggs are so pretty, these breeds are sometimes called Easter egg chickens. Green-shelled eggs are laid by hens bred from a cross between an Araucana and a brown egg breed. Unscrupulous sellers charge outrageous prices for blue or green eggs by falsely claiming that they're lower in cholesterol than white or brown eggs. Well, that's just dumb. Alright, cooking with fresh eggs. Alright, I'm going to show you right here in the top. The old yolk flattens out right there. And then that one, a fresh egg, the yolk just like stays and holds its shape. Hard-boiled eggs have many uses, ranging from picnic garnish to afternoon snack, from main dish at lunch to appetizer before dinner. Actually, the term hard-boiled is not accurate. True, the egg is cooked hard, but if it has been boiled, it will be rubbery and tough. The more accurate term is hard-cooked. If you've never tried to peel a hard-cooked fresh egg, you're in for a shock. The contents of a fresh egg fill up nearly the entire shell. When the egg is cooked through, it sticks to the shell. If you try to peel the egg, you'll peel off several layers of white too. The contents of an egg that's at least a week old have shrunk away from the shell, making it easier to peel. Store-bought eggs peel easily because they're usually at least a week old by the time you get them home. Old eggs have an off-center yolk, which doesn't look as nice as the centered yolk when the cooked egg is sliced or deviled. The fresher the egg, the more centered the yolk, but the more difficult the egg is to peel. A good compromise is to hard cook eggs that are 7 to 10 days old. If you want to hard cook fresher eggs, leave them overnight at room temperature first. I'll have to remember that.
This can go in compost, right?
Huh?
This can go in compost, right?
Yeah.
I'm not done eating. I just want to throw that Probably.
Scott, why don't you just put it in one of the compost things outside?
I made it in the bucket.
Cool. All right, beating egg whites. A gourmet cook beats egg whites only in a copper bowl. Copper from the bowl reacts with conalbumin in the white to stabilize the foam so the air that's beaten in will not leak right back out. You can get the same results in a glass or stainless steel bowl by adding an acid ingredient. Cream of tartar is an acid ingredient. Add 1/8 of a teaspoon per egg white unless you're making meringue, in which case you add 1/8 of a teaspoon per 2 egg whites. Lemon juice or vinegar serves the same purpose as cream of tartar. Egg whites beat up to their greatest volume if the eggs are first warmed at room temperature for about 30 minutes, because fat inhibits beating. Take great care not to get any yolk into the white when you separate the eggs. Properly beaten white should increase to 4 times their volume. Alright, and that's on the collecting and storing eggs, determining freshness, and shell color and cooking with fresh eggs. And I will go ahead and get this up there, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, guys.
Hey, Chloe, can you bring me the...
Sorry, excuse me. See you in a minute, guys.
When you come in.